Hey, good day, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn, the active trend trader. Thank you for joining us for this weekend session of the How to Make Money Trading Stocks weekly live stream that we do every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. We do two things. Basically, we check out the indexes are doing, what they could be shaping up for next week. And also, when available, we will highlight a couple of stocks, maybe up to 3 stocks that may have a potential of moving next week. And so, with no further ado, let's get into this week's session. Here it comes. So good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn. I want to welcome everybody to the How to Make Money Trading Stocks live stream. This is something we do on a weekly basis, and we'll continue to do this. This was kind of as you're aware, this is election week, and so had a little bit of slight changes in schedule and all that kind of stuff. Now, normally I'm going to be doing a video that's going to come out on Wednesday. That's going to be a free video that'll be shown on the YouTube channel. That's going to basically be talking about maybe a couple of setups for potential stock and option trades, and at least a review of what's happening with the indexes. If you want to get in on that, basically, if you're not an active trend trader, you just go to our YouTube channel, which is Market Tech Talk, and register there, and you'll get notification when we put on new content. I want to remind everybody what we do is for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. I encourage you, please continue to share our content from active trend trading with your friends. We're starting to move into the time of year where people start looking at, well, what can I do differently going into next year? If you were not in the market, if you were not trading with active trend traders, I don't know how you did for the year. I know we've done quite well, but a lot of people will be sitting there going, well, where did I miss out? We're going to be offering a couple of new things with active trend trader that I think you're really going to like. If you want to, and I'll be talking about those upgrades over the next couple of weeks. But so the objective, what we do is provide traders with top-notch market analysis every week, timely and actionable intel that clarifies, simplifies trading decisions so that you can multiply profits, minimize risk. As I look at what's going on, okay, the markets seem to, regardless of how you may feel personally about the election and what's going on with the election and what's going on with the recounts and all the stuff that's going on, the markets seem to like the election, not so much because of the results, other than part of the results, since the Republicans held the Senate and actually picks up some seats in the House, but they held the Senate. And so even if, in fact, Joe Biden does, in fact, become the next president, it will mean gridlock. And so without a lot of decisions being made, which, one can say, well, that's not a good thing because we're not moving forward. But sometimes the market likes it. And I mean, I'm just talking purely as from a market perspective. Sometimes the market just really likes it if it's certain that nothing's going to happen in the government. So we'll see what transpires with that. And so that's what I think we're seeing a little bit of reaction. Steve's going to be showing a couple of stocks. Like I said, we're going to chat about a couple of stocks. But let's jump into what's happening with the market. As of about 9 o'clock Pacific this morning, the active trend trading system is up about 52.93%. As you can see, the Dow has pulled back up almost to being even for the year. What's really remarkable is the Russell has now moved up to being within less than a percentage point away from being up for the year. NASDAQ continues to just, be really awesome. Also, S&P doing really well. And so why the active trend trading strategy 1 and 2 is compared to the S&P up 44%. Let's take a look at the charts. That's what we came for. So let's start with the S&P. One of the things that I really want to highlight going forward, when the government does nothing, we all benefit. Yeah, I guess, Mark. I just, sometimes I just scratch my head. You know, so what are we looking at? I want to take a look at, we've got multiple, what I would call, I don't know if they're really breakaway gaps, but there's certainly, you know, gaps up or where there's not a lot of trading going on in there. Now on some of these lower ones, the gap was in fact filled. We closed here, we opened here, that was a gap up. However, we closed it same day. So we have a gap here. We have a, yeah, you could say we closed, here, let me show you what I'm talking about here. We closed here that day. We opened here. And so that, in fact, is a gap up. Now, I recognize the price action from the day before went all the way up to here. But still, from the close to the open, that's a gap up. And we still have not filled that void that's there yet. Now, eventually, all gaps will be, typically, 95% of the time, all gaps are filled. But it doesn't necessarily have to be immediately. Sometimes it can be weeks. Sometimes it can be days. And so that's where we're sitting. What I'm looking at is this is a very positive candlestick for the week. A nice move up where? Back into the upper resistance. And so what I would like to do going into next week is what I want to do is I want to define on every one of my indexes where my support is. So I have breakout support that comes off of that point right there. So there's my lower level. There you go. And where's my upper level? My upper level is basically at this breakout point here, but on up also. And so I could actually draw in some support here, somewhere running between this low here. Actually, I'm going to go over the daily. Daily shows up just a little bit better. And it's a good idea just to draw these in. You can either draw it in with a little box rectangle. So I've got basically this low here, that low there. So I can actually highlight right there, draw it down to about right there, stretch it across. So that whole area there, I can be keeping my eye on. That is a level of resistance where prices may not jump up above that, or they may get up into there. And if we get into overbought conditions in our indexes and our momentum, watch for a potential turnover. But that's a value area to take action. This is a value area down here to take action. I'll bounce it. So that's what I'm looking at with the SPY. Very positive movement this week. We are back up above the moving averages. And so for what I'm looking at right now, I'm looking for pullbacks into the moving averages to, in fact, take actions on the S&P. And as you know, if you've been following Active Trend Trader for a while, you know I would prefer trading either the NASDAQ or the Russell. Similar type situation with that. You can go, again, I encourage you, go back, draw in your levels of past support. And one of them here and primarily go to your weekly chart on that. Why? The weekly levels of identifiable support and resistance are more important longer term than the daily levels. And so what I've got here is I can do the same type of thing here. I've got a high there, which we came up and hit. I can actually draw a little box, a rectangle around that area. I'm going to go from the high here. That's my upward. No, yeah, that's close enough. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Let's Still haven't got it in there right. There we go. That's going to be closer. Come on, get in there. That's what happens when your bandwidth is all messed up. And that's not quite exactly right because I want it to be down here at this low here, which is the high of, what's my high? 303.50. I'll go ahead and just edit this. And this is one of the things with the Thinkorswim platform that I really like. You can go in here and you can adjust everything. You put the lines in and then you can go back and do an adjust. So I want 305.50, 303.50. 350. And I can also extend, let's extend this out to about February, through the end of February next year. I can do the same thing there. I love that. So end of February. There we go. So, dadgummit. That's one of the things that happens when we have, bandwidth issues. There we go. Let me correct that. Three. And if you use the Thinkorswim platform, one thing you can do is if you click out of that with your tab, that normally locks it in place. That should be better. There you go. So there's my level. And so when price action starts to get up into there, then I can start looking for potential reversals to do what? Reversing to the mean at least, and to see if we're going to continue on. So that's what I'm looking at with the Qs. Similar type thing. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Value, areas of value down here at the lower level, up here at the upper level for downside trades, mid-size around the moving averages for pullback trades into the, on pullbacks to the mean, reversion to the mean type trades. IWM was getting a really good run this morning earlier, but it too has reached up into, and I'll let you do your own on this one. It has reached up into what? The upper level of resistance and is reversing down. Do we have a reversal candlestick yet? No. Where would we anticipate it to go? Back down to the moving averages. Is there anything else we can throw on here to say, okay, where, help me identify my levels of support where IWM might get traction back to the upside? And that's a good way to do it right there. And as you can see, the 50% retracement puts you back about 158. So, which is in the 38% retracement is there at 160. So in that little gap there, or in that little area, that's where we're going to anticipate a pullback and get ready to potentially trade to the upside. So at this particular point in time, what I'm looking at is, get rid of my fib real quick. I'm looking at everything is pointed in the upward direction. I like that. So I'll be looking for, like I am on many of the stocks that we have, I'm looking for price actions to pull back into a level where I can anticipate jumping on a trade to the upside. This is back in gear to the upside. We have a higher low and a higher high now in place. So Steve, that's what I'm looking about. Sorry for being so verbose on my discussion. You wanted to talk about, I got it. Octa, O-K-T-A.
Yeah. I actually don't have any specific setup today, and Octa is an example of what many of my setups or many of my picks have been doing. It's a little bit late for an entry today, and I think, and for most of my stocks, the last 2 or 3 days have been the setups, and they're a little bit extended. So now, as for Octa, as exemplified by Octa, I'm waiting for a pullback to probably occur. We've got 2 no range bars in Octa suggesting a top. I expect a pullback, and It may get as low as the prior low, but it may not get there. But I'll be following the price action and then looking for a reversal price action to gauge my re-entry into Octa.
So where would you be looking at a potential entry right now? At the 5-day moving average, or back down at these past lows?
Well, I expect it'll get below the 8. I don't know if the 50 will hold. I'll have to see what price action is like. It tells me I think a reversal has occurred. But somewhere at near the 50, maybe it doesn't get that far. Maybe it gets through, but it doesn't take out the prior low.
Okay.
Once that occurs, once that action occurs, I'll have an idea that when it'd be appropriate to re-enter the position. I'm actually in a position now. I've not exited, but if I were not in a position, I'd be looking for a pullback to occur and then an opportunity to enter. And I'd say most of the things I follow are kind of looking like Octa is right now. They come off the bottom pretty strongly. It's not time to enter, but when and if a pullback occurs, I think it'll be appropriate. I'm very bullish looking out 2 months.
Yeah, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'm looking now that we're kind of getting some. Now that the fog is lifting a little bit, I'm getting a little bit more positive on. We can be a little bit more aggressive. Still, Jeff asked a question: am I going to go from a quarter position to a half? I'll take a look at that when I set up the top 5 autopilot trades this weekend, Jeff. Whether I'm going to go to a quarter or a half, it's going to, partly just depend on where we're picking up the trades. And again, I can't, since this is not a session for the top 5 per se, I won't give away what the top 5 guys are paying for. So one of the ones I'm looking at, Steve, is I like this one, Roku burst to the upside today after earnings yesterday, after the market. Nice breakout on strong volume. And so what I'm looking for here, guys, is any kind of a pullback towards this breakout level. And I can also, in that breakout size also goes back down there. We can also take a look at this other level that's identified by these highs here, which that is about a pullback down to about the 230 level. That high right there is 229.55. That looks really good. Both Roku and OKTA have weekly options, and so they provide some additional opportunities from the way I like to trade. So just be aware of that. Both of these look really good. It too had a nice reversal on momentum, strong reversal on momentum on the daily chart. It had maintained its momentum on the weekly chart. It's in a really nice strong uptrend. And so any kind of, like I said, any kind of a pullback into about, and you could actually go all the way down to about the 229 to 225-ish level. So that's what I'm looking at. See, Rocco, TTD, and SQ had great price action after earnings earlier today. Let's see what they did really quick. Rocco, and then we got a punch out here shortly. So TTD. Yeah, nice breakout on a weekly chart. Excellent. Good, strong, really strong volume. You can do basically the same type of thing. This is a significant gap up. It had earnings after the market yesterday. Yes, gap up. And so now on this one, how do you play the gap up? Well, basically, see that gap up right there? That whole area there is considered an area of support, with the midsection there at about, and I'll give you a dollar figure, about the 684, 685 level being the strongest. So TTD looks good. Also, weekly options are on the table, and SQ. So great picks there, Rocco. Like it. So again, here we go. Nice little bounce up earnings win yesterday. So again, just draw in your lines, your levels here. And here is and I'll just grab this real quick. And so any kind of a pullback. Come on, get in there. Let's put that in there right there. Isn't it interesting that that's about halfway up the green candle? Any of a kind of a pullback back towards that level, which is at 191, 192, would give us an opportunity. Again, Square also has weekly options. So, yeah, if you're a premium member of Active Trend Trading on those stocks we've been talking about today, they may show up a little bit. We'll see how they cook out on the top 5 and the Power Ranked Elite list. See if they come out on that, and then we'll be looking for potential. Yeah, nice volume though. Nice volume picking up here. So great signals. Steve, good picks. And we'll basically finish off today.
Okay, thanks, Dennis.
And so basically the question I'll leave you with today, if you could only trade one entity, what would it be? You can answer in the chat box or in the, what would the one thing you trade, what would it be? TNA, well, Mark likes TNA, Apple for Jeff. And if you're joining us on YouTube, just put it in the comment section. So very interesting. And if you are joining us YouTube, please remember, hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified of new content when we do post it again. Expect a video coming out on Wednesday of next week. ES futures, that's interesting, Steve. I didn't know you were trading futures. That's good to know. So, and last but not least, if you're not a member, you can always get a hold of the Power Rank Elite Top 5 pre-flight checklist. That is an excellent entry level into the active trend trading system. And you get the 5 top stocks every week, plus all the information about where to enter, where to exit, and what to expect. Hey everybody, this is Dennis Wilborn, active trend trader. One of the things I promote all the time is learn how to journal. It'll make you a more consistent trader. One of the things I'm additionally proud of is my youngest son, Brandon, who developed these 2 journals, a mini journal and a full-size journal that'll enable you to basically journal all your trades, follow the active trend trading rules, and it is a top seller on Amazon. So I put the links down in the description that'll basically show you how to take advantage of these 2 journals. Either one of them, they are fantastic. Aloha. So until next week, we'll have to say, hopefully I don't know if we're going to have a what I should have asked the question is, by when do you think we'll have the absolute results of the election? But I didn't do that. You don't have to answer that because that's one of those unknowns. But hey, aloha, trade well, prosper, keep sharpening the saw. Steve, thanks a lot. And
you're welcome. You too, Dennis.
Have a great weekend. And if you're a Bay Area Moneymaker member, we will be meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And so until then, aloha. God bless everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.